such a heavy-handed love. Hey, me. Hey, mama, where you been for so long, for so long? Hey, me. Hey, mama, where you been? Where you been for so long?
Secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride in my steps, the curl of my you please. And to a man, the fellows stand and fall down on their knees. And when they swarm around me like a hive of honeybees, I say it's in the fire in my eyes, the flash of my teeth, the swing of my waist, the joy jump about or have to talk real loud. But when you see me passing, it ought to make you proud.
Evan.
Yes. On my
Could you
knees.
pass me the plexiglass? Because the sound's not here yet. Do you mind if I use it? Once I use it?
No.
Oh,
The plexiglass? Can I use that one?
no, let's leave it. 'Cause that's the only thing holding your music on.
Huh?
It's a windy day. It's really hard to play music outside in the wind. We're all gonna do our best.
Oh, the stand is
Oh, you know what that sound is? They can hear the wind on the microphones. It's not ideal. It's not ideal.
We're good.
Just, okay.
We're
We're
ready.
gonna wait one more second and then we gotta do our best.
Now, yeah, I think now's the time.
You ready? Okay, here's Pink Panther. One, two, 1, 2, 3. The wind died down. Use this moment to your advantage. Up next is James Fontaine.
Oh, yeah, as soon as you say that.
Oh, it's never going away for good, but that's okay.
No, please, no.
I go to the
Oh, if you want to, yeah. I'll give you a
Yes,
second.
Parker.
Cool thing
Oh,
about
yeah.
the first and second parts is that
You bet.
I could just
You
do this
don't-
and I can
you
sing
don't
the
have
parts.
You have it memorized perfectly?
Parker, it's like the same 3 notes.
It's not.
Actually, that's kind of the strat. Austin's kind of right. He just has them folded. Because he's only playing part 2.
Yeah.
Might have to put that there.
The good news is we'll have a lot of time to click comp and circumstance.
Yeah.
It is on. You ready? It's a little hard for you to hear, but I can hear you loud and clear. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and go. Thank you.
What's next?
Let's do some jazz next. Mr.
Oh, I have
Keith.
this memorized.
All right, let's actually play a tuning note. Everyone play me the first note of Mr. PC and hold it just to tune real quick. Here we are. You can listen to me shout out solos, but the order is going to be Austin, Unandi, Evan, Nick. Austin, Unandi, Evan, Nick. You ready? 1, 2, 1, go.
Parker.
All right, we got it. Don't mean to think of it ain't got no swing.
IDNATIAGGTS.
Yes,
Miss Merrill says they're ready.
they are ready, so we're done.
So
We're done. Thank you. Yeah. So up next will be circumstance.
Well, I don't want to pay
already.
Yeah, I knew we wouldn't get through all of them, but thank you. That was
Actually,
great.
kind of good because I don't want to be super tired.
And
going
honestly,
into Pompey.
Events like this, really, really good.
I don't want to play Teddy in the West Boy anyway.
Yeah, maybe we should.
I gotta say, we're gonna have to survive without a tuba player today.
Yeah, where's that tuba?
I actually, if she's on the same part as me, I hope we.
Nope, she's not.
No.
Austin, you're all on unique parts.
Oh, really?
This is a custom arrangement.
Copy and put it on your own name.
I was never gonna put Exler. She was the one who wrote Elgar. I don't think she would ever. Actually, this is based off of another arrangement that she bought for $5, but then she made it for these people. Customized.
Thank you.
She would ask me questions. She'd be like, "Can Unandi play the high D?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just a palm key." What?
What kind of question
She
is
doesn't
that?
play
Is
sax.
it time for the big moment?
What big moment?
For Pompey.
Yeah, we're gonna get a cue.
Everyone?
Guys, we're on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh wow, look at the graduates.
Look down.
Are the graduates getting out? There they are. Yeah, we are supposed to play when they're walking. So at this
Look.
point in time,
Look at me.
at this point, if they're about to start walking, I am not sure we're gonna have tuba.
Are you done with the keyboard?
Yes, actually, like we can move it if we want.
That doesn't matter. I'm just gonna steal this.
Yes, totally fine.
What if, hear me out, we just got up and left.
No.
Just ran away.
Oh, you jokester!
Don't you dare say that.
You funny prankster!
No.
If you haven't noticed, I've got
Wow.
these nice little cards,
That's
so
really
I can
pretty.
try to show you whether we're doing A
I
or
like
B.
the 3D
Yeah.
on the.
That's
I was
really pretty.
figuring while we're playing, I'll just shout Chandler Sanders, and then you'll know.
Are you gonna do it with the snare on?
No, on. Oh my goodness. Okay. So much for
Not
that.
good. Do you want the plexiglass?
It's not thunder. It's from
Not
the
thunder.
microphone.
That looks like
The
pomp and
mic.
circumstance, so don't get over it. Maybe he just
Is
wants-
Carolyn's copy fine? Is Howard's copy? The two
Yeah.
card?
What
Thank you.
about- Oh yeah.
It's good.
And I could use more clips, please. So that doesn't happen again.
I got you. Yeah, animal.
I'm making sure that pomp and circumstance is like sealed
Yeah.
down.
Oh
Yeah, really, get it super sealed in there. This is maybe the
This thing
windiest
is not-
performance I've ever done.
This is not moving. I swear to God. No move.
I'm not gonna
I need
touch
more
mine,
clips.
mainly for the fact it's not moving.
No, you
Here, wait.
don't. No, that's holding my phone.
Your folder is fine.
No.
It's being held by. That's clip there.
Okay,
Clip
wait,
that
wait.
around there. Look.
They're
I need.
excited, they're ready.
Do not need that
Look at this.
many.
It has not been communicated to me exactly when we're supposed to start.
Looks like they're looking at us. I think we're supposed to start. Yeah, it looks. Look, they're waving to us.
Oh, they're waving?
Yeah,
Are we
let's go.
good? Are we?
Yeah.
We're good? I guess. Okay, here we are. Ready?
no,
Beginning.
no.
Bum, ba, 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 ba. 1, 2, ready, and.
evening, and welcome to the Randolph Union commencement exercises for the class of 2022. It is a pleasure to be here under this tent with all of you today to celebrate this group of seniors, soon to be graduates. While we will be sad to see them go, we know that they are ready, and it's exciting to be here to celebrate their accomplishments. I am Lisa Floyd, co-principal at Randolph Union High School.
And I am Katie Sutton, co-principal at Randolph Union High School. It is our honor and privilege to celebrate these senior students with all of you here tonight. As you can see as you review the program for this evening's ceremony, we will hear from individuals who the seniors wish to celebrate and recognize, and of course, we will hear our seniors' voices as well. We are delighted to spend this evening with you on this monumental occasion. And with respect to the solemn nature of this occasion, we ask that you please silence your cell phones and remain attentive as we enjoy our time with these remarkable senior students just for a couple more hours. We will now begin our ceremony and ask that you all please rise as Senior Andrew Lewis leads us in the recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance. And then please remain standing as we play the national anthem. You might want to adjust the mic.
Yeah. Stands one nation under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Now please welcome Lane Millington, OSSD Superintendent, to share a few remarks.
A little shorter than the last person that was up here. Good evening and welcome to the culminating event for the class of 2022. Tonight's ceremony in part is about saying farewell to a group of students who have been deeply enmeshed in all of our lives for many years. Students who have made RUHS their home and who we will miss dearly as they move on to greater adventures in the larger world. Seniors, the majority of tonight is about recognizing your accomplishments, your achievements, and your triumphs, and not just to honor those things, but because in doing so, it reminds us, the adults in your lives who have worried and cared for you these many long years, of just how capable you really are, so that we can worry a little less. For after all, you are our family and you are leaving home. As the opening act, it's my job to set a thoughtful and reflective mood so that the audience is settled in and attentive to the remainder of tonight's ceremony. It is the job of tonight's other speakers to inspire you, to take you down memory lane, to point out the milestones you've achieved, and to express both happiness and sadness at the fact that this ceremony marks both an end and a new beginning. In addition to settling folks in, it's also my responsibility to say a few words that offer some wisdom that may be helpful, given the state of the world you are about to enter. Not an easy task, to say the least. For the class of 2022, and in reflection of the state of our nation and the world, I've chosen the words of Bertrand Russell, spoken off the cuff in a 1959 interview. For context, Mr. Russell lived through both World War I and World War II. He saw the rise of the nuclear age and the Cold War, and had interacted directly with the leaders who were forming the world orders that we live under today. And at the age of 87, he was asked, based on what you've seen and what you've learned, what would you like to tell the people living 1,000 years from now? And in a voice crackling with age, he said, there are two things that I would like to say, one intellectual and one moral. The intellectual thing I should want to say is this: when you are studying any matter or considering any philosophy, ask yourself only, what are the facts? And what is the truth that the facts bear out? Never let yourself be diverted either by what you wish to believe or by what you think would have a beneficial social effect if it were to be believed. But look only and solely at what are the facts. The moral thing I should like to say is very simple. Love is wise, hatred is foolish. In this world, which is getting more and more closely interconnected, we have to learn to tolerate each other. We have to learn to put up with the fact that some people say things that we don't like. We can only live together in that way, and if we are to live together and not die together, we must learn a kind of charity and a kind of tolerance, which is absolutely vital to the continuation of human life on this planet. This is the wisdom I wish to leave with you here at the end of your high school journey, as I believe it will serve you well, and I believe it will serve the world well if more people would follow Mr. Russell's advice. To the class of 2022, we are extremely proud of you, each and every one. We wish you the best of all things as the years pass by, and that you are always a part of a community that cares for you as deeply as does ours. Parents, friends, and faculty, please rise. Please give these exceptional individuals, these graduates, a round of applause.
Thank you, Lane. We will now engage in a special tradition at RU, recognizing and celebrating our international exchange students and families with the IEC Exchange of Flags. Please welcome Reagan Papp, who will introduce our students and families.
Good evening, I'm Reagan. With the exception of the 2 years when international programs were interrupted by COVID, RUHS has a decades-long tradition of honoring our exchange students and families at graduation with a sharing of the flags. Year after year, our exchange students enrich the lives not only of their families, but those of their classmates as well as the greater Randolph community. We are lucky to have them, and we are grateful to live in a community where the learning and growth that comes from international exchange is valued. This past year, RUHS families hosted 4 students. Marina Fernandez Iviza of Germany, who is hosted by the Johnson family. Tina Vizmina of Latvia, who is hosted by the Bowden Doyle family. Christian Lota of Norway, who was hosted by the Zoram family. And Mohammed bin Salim of Pakistan, who was hosted by the Papp family. Mohammed's program ended June 6th, unfortunately, but he's with us here tonight in spirit. Each of these students took an active part in our classrooms, our extracurricular programs, and our community, and they will be missed by faculty, family, and friends. Thank you.
Good evening, students, families, and friends of our Randolph Union seniors. We welcome you with warmth and gratitude and are dearly thankful that we are all able to gather here tonight to celebrate our well-deserving seniors for all of their accomplishments this year and throughout their tenure at RU. I was thinking of these seniors the other day as I was contemplating my remarks to them for this evening. And I was reminded of a story I was once told that I believe captures the spirit of this class. A resilient, strong group of individuals who persevere and see the hope and the potential for good, even when faced with great adversity. Some of you may have heard this story before, and if you have, I ask you now to listen to the narrative and think of these bright young people sitting before you all, about to graduate from high school. So as the story goes, a young person is walking along the ocean and encounters a vast beach on which thousands and thousands of starfish have washed ashore. Further along the beach, this individual sees an older man. He is walking slowly and stooping often, picking up one starfish after another and placing each one gently back into the ocean. When the young person reaches the older man, they ask him, "Why are you placing these starfish back into the ocean?" He responds, "Because the sun is up and the tide is going out, and if I don't place them further into the water, they will die." The young person responds, "But don't you realize there are miles and miles of beach and starfish all along the shores? You can't possibly save them all. You can't even save 1/10 of them. In fact, even if you work all day, your efforts won't make any difference at all." The older man listens calmly, considering what the young person has said, and then slowly bends down to pick up another starfish and place it gently into the sea. "It made a difference to that one," he says.
When Ms. Sutton reminded me of the story about the starfish and said she wanted to include it in our graduation speech tonight, it felt so perfect for this group. Over the past 6 years, I've had an opportunity to observe that this is a class full of helpers. This is evident in the career paths and volunteerism that many of them have chosen, and sometimes their help takes place in smaller ways. The critical feedback given to a peer, a warm smile or a hug, or a hilarious joke shared at just the right time. When Katie asked this group of students what they most wanted to hear from us, they said they wanted advice. So I thought about what might be most helpful to them, regardless of where their lives may take them. My advice is that no matter where you go or what you do after your life at Randolph Union, you remember that your voice, your work, your contributions, no matter how seemingly insignificant, matter. By returning a single starfish to the sea, the person who committed that act gave the world to that starfish. There are times throughout a person's life when it is hard to see the impact that these small acts can have on communities. In those moments, it can be easy to give in to defeat, to believe that no matter what we do, it simply will not be enough to shape the world in the ways in which we want to see it shaped. There are voices that will tell you that your votes won't matter, your small actions to help slow global climate change won't matter, and your work toward creating a more humane world doesn't matter. Please vote anyway, regardless of how you vote. Do it and make yourself aware of the local politics wherever you live. Recycle and compost and grow and eat local food as much as you can. And regardless of how daunting the news can feel and how many examples of bad behavior there are in the world, never stop being kind, caring for one another, and using your voices to create the kind of world where children can live and grow in communities focused on their well-being.
Experiencing these last few challenging years that have felt the enormity of the weight of a national health crisis and the social and economic fallout that has rode alongside it, it is possible that one may dwell in the darkness of futility, believing that one's actions or intentions or words do not matter among the vast shores of beached starfish. It is possible to contemplate and rest in the shade of nihilism. But that is not what I've seen in these young people before you here this evening. I've seen them gently in the water. And I've seen that these small acts of kindness, of wonder, of curiosity, of hilarity, that they all matter to this group. I've seen them tend to one another and themselves, and I've heard them be brutally honest and transparent about how hard it has been. As Ms. Floyd mentioned, when we asked the seniors what they wanted to hear from us tonight, they said they wanted to hear some good advice. When I reflected upon this response later on, it occurred to me that, as an adult who has already experienced adolescence and my own graduation experiences without a looming health crisis, I may not be as well positioned to give them advice as they may be. That maybe I should listen rather than explain. I should hear what their advice is for us as we continue to support our young people as they approach their post-secondary lives. So I sent out a survey to them with a request to answer 2 questions. 1, in reflecting upon the last 3 years at RU and growing up and living through a pandemic while being a high school student, what advice do you have for others in facing this adversity? And 2, as you graduate from RU and look ahead to the future, what are your hopes for those students who will graduate next year and in future years from RU? Unsurprisingly, the hope and optimism that these young people shared with me in their responses to these questions is a testament to their enduring spirit. The messages were clear and contained sage advice for us. Persevere, work hard, stay positive. Or, it hasn't been easy, but the ultimate goal is to graduate. This message may sound simple, but I can't emphasize enough what an accomplishment this is, to graduate. They were at the end of their 10th grade year when the pandemic struck. The halls of Randolph Union emptied, and these grade 10 students went home to experience their education through a screen that divided us in myriad, inexplicable ways. No field trips, no dances, no pep rallies or practices, no lunch together in the cafeteria. Last year, as grade 11 students, some of the laughter did return to our building in the grade 11-12 wing that became a family, where smiles did happen but were hidden beneath a mask, where hugs were mimed and distance was palpable. It would have been reasonable for students to see the futility of learning during a pandemic, of placing the starfish gently back into the water. But here they are, telling us not to waste this precious time we have with one another and to be mindful, a pearl they also recovered from the vast shores, the infinite waters of growing up during a pandemic. They said,
soak up as much of your senior year as possible. Don't take it for granted. It will not last forever. They told us to enjoy being a kid, that this time will be gone in the blink of an eye, that you'll only have this experience once. Enjoy it. Move slow to go fast, they said.
They spoke of perseverance, of pushing through adversity. Stay strong, they said. Never give up. They emphasized that it is okay to fail and struggle, that everybody does, and you will get through it.
What stood out to me most about all of what they had to say were their reflections on relationships and the people around them as they went through this challenging experience. People will continue to show up for you, they said. Find your people, no matter the circumstances. If everything is normal, or if we're all learning remotely, or wearing masks in school, having people you can trust, whether it's peers, teachers, or both, can make everything so much easier.
Finally, and what captures this group most genuinely and sincerely, is the sustaining hope they have for themselves and for others. This pervades this group of generous, kind-hearted young people. You get to choose your own path, don't forget it, they said. I hope students get a chance to explore and that they get more opportunities. I hope they keep fighting for what they believe in, that they get out into the world, see things they never would have in Randolph. So thank you, class of 2022, for asking for our advice, for giving us advice, and for seeing the starfish laying upon the shores and making a difference and knowing it matters. Congratulations. And now please welcome Elliot Troop, who will be reciting the poem Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll.
Hello everyone. I'll be reciting the poem The Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. 'Twas brillig in the slithy toves, the gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the burrow groves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird, and shun the frumious Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the mainsome foe he sought, and rested he by the Tumtum tree, and stood awhile in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the tulgey wood and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galloping back. Oh, hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. Oh, frabjous day, Callooh, Calais, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig in the slithy toves, the gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the burrow groves, and the mome raths outgrabe.
Thank you, Elliot. We will now welcome our senior speakers to the stage, beginning with Wilder Grimes and followed by Joseph Morse.
Thank you to everyone for being here today, and thank you to the entire class of 2022 that has made these past 6 years so worthwhile. Being at such a small school, I've had the opportunity to get to know all my peers and watch them grow. Without this school, we wouldn't be the people that we are today. Randolph has given me the opportunity to learn and grow in a close community that has shown me love and support, and for that I will always be grateful. I am lucky to have had this experience. I hope that all future students are given the opportunities that I was given at this school. I hope that they are treated with respect and know that their teachers and peers support and accept them. I hope that they feel safe in this building and in this community and know that they are valued. My hope is that Randolph can be a good place for everyone, full of love and acceptance. My hope is that Randolph can be a place where everyone's voices are heard and where everyone feels seen and represented. a place where their value is recognized. I hope that next year's students continue to speak up and make this school the best it can be. I hope that the teachers and staff do their best to continue supporting students and their interests. I hope that the school board and Superintendent Millington keep the safety and happiness of the students as their top priority. I know that Randolph is a good school, a school full of kind and passionate people. I know that the community wants what is best for its students. I hope that every student is given the same experience and support that I was. Hanging the Black Lives Matter flag is the bare minimum. Randolph needs to do more to counteract the racism in our school and in our community, starting with adapting its policies to create a safer, more inclusive environment. I hope that future students advocate for those whose voices aren't heard and continue fighting for change within our school. Congratulations to the class of 2022. Thank you.
Where do I even begin? This year has been an absolute mess, a roller coaster of emotions, and yet, against my better judgment, I'm glad to have been here for it all. There have been some high points and many, many low points. We as a community still have a lot to work on. For any of you who attended the community meetings, you would know what I'm talking about. Our community is polarized. There was also the flag, but I'm not here to argue that again. I'll just say that the school made some decisions I don't personally agree with. Even though this year was a challenge, there were a few good people. I'd like to thank Heidi for all the help she's given me throughout the year, not only on schoolwork, but also listening to me when I need somebody to talk to. She's been great not only at helping, but also at nagging. "Joseph, get your work done," she'd always say to me. Even though I didn't always appreciate it, I understand she was just trying to help, even if it didn't work most of the time. I do appreciate all the support she's given her students, though. She makes sure to do her best to help everyone and welcomes people with open arms. I'm gonna miss you, Heidi. I'd also like to thank Dana. Where do I even start? You've been one of the most amazing teachers I've ever had. You've been so supportive and understanding, not just to me, but to everyone I've seen you interact with. You helped me even when you didn't have to, even when you had to go out of your way to do so, and I really appreciate that. Your racial justice PBL does some amazing work, and I'm sad you won't be teaching it next year. I know you can accomplish great things at your new school. I know you're very passionate about your work, and I hope you create a beacon of hope at your new school, just like you did for the students here. I'm gonna miss you next year, but know that none of us will ever forget you. Never change, Dana. You've both taught me many lessons that I'm grateful for. I learned to always believe in myself, take chances, to step out of my comfort zone and stand up for what I believe in. After all, you can't truly live life if you stay in a bubble. So if you take one thing from graduation, I urge you to heed this advice. I'm also gonna miss all my peers. I know that I never really knew any of you that well. Our trip to the beach made me realize that. I wish I had been more involved with the senior class and that I had talked to some of you guys more, because despite my initial opinions, some of you seem pretty cool. I'd also like to thank Casey, Matt, Sarah, and Emma in particular. You made me feel like I belonged somewhere, so thank you for that. I guess I'll end by saying good luck in whatever you choose to do. Whether it be law, biochemistry, going into the medical field, or whatever else you choose, I see great potential in all of you. I know that if any of you put your mind to it, you can do great things. I'm gonna miss you all next year.
Thank you, Wilder, and thank you, Joseph. I'd now like to welcome Chandler Anderson and Abigail Becker to the stage, toward the podium, to welcome our first keynote speaker of the evening.
We have the honor of introducing our next speaker. I was blessed to have Simona as a cross-country coach throughout my early years of high school.
Ms. Talosh has been a supportive teacher, always wanting her students to continue learning. This past year, she was teaching at Middlebury High School, but she is always in our hearts at RU.
Please welcome Simona Talos.
Thank you, guys. Good evening, everyone. My name is Simona Talos, as the kids just told you, and I've had the honor and privilege of teaching at Randolph Union for 11 years and knowing this class for 5 of their 6 years. When Kara reached out on their behalf and asked me to speak, I felt terrified. Terrified that I didn't have anything meaningful or of grand depth to share with you in this milestone moment of your lives. Then I sat back and thought, surely they asked me because they deemed that I had some knowledge worthy of sharing. So I pondered, what is the knowledge that they want me to share? Do they want to know how to emphasize words in Spanish? Do they want to know which words in Spanish come from Arabic? It's the ones that start with an A, in case you wonder. But I don't think that's it either. Do they want to know how the Aztecs built floating gardens and built the city of Tenochtitlan, Mexico City today, and fed 200,000 of their population at the height of their empire? Maybe. That could be a really good conversation starter, so you don't have to be a wallflower at a party. And then I kept reflecting to what makes me who I am. And I think it's knowledge and memories. So if it's not knowledge about Spanish, what knowledge do I have that I can share with all of you? Well, I think it's knowledge about learning, and learning that comes through failing. Samuel Beckett, mantra, try again, fail better, is what I'm going to talk to you about today. The lessons that I have learned through failure are the lessons that challenged me, made me grow, become stronger, and be prepared for the waves of life that will come in all our lives and knock us down when we least expect. I pride myself in being a strong student and learner. I graduated from my bachelor's and from my MA with a 4.0. However, my academic career has not come without failure. I was horrible at math in high school, terrible. My mother punished me by hiring a tutor 2 buses down from where we lived on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. But the lesson that I have learned through that failure has been to ask for help and to know who my support system is. And that is the one lesson that I want you to start thinking about today. I have many other epic fails that I'm also going to share with you tonight. About a year ago, in May to be more exact, I decided that I needed to be more cool, that I needed to be mountain biking, like a lot of the women that I admired in my life were mountain biking. And I thought, I'm a really good biker. I can bike for hours on gravel, so how hard can it be to mountain bike? Turns out hard, like really hard. However, on one day that was beautiful, I set off with the wrong equipment to bike Mount Peg in Woodstock. And just when I felt semi-proficient, I failed to apply one of the basic rules in mountain biking, is to keep your feet flat. And as I was not keeping my feet flat, I caught the edge of a bridge, fell off that bridge onto a rock. And that fall is still etched in my calf today, that is bearing the story of that failure. But in that failure, I learned another lesson, is to be mindful In mountain biking, as in any learning of new skills, you need to be present. You need to be there. You need to be focused. Another one of my lessons from failure comes from running the Burlington City Marathon a couple years ago. As many of you know, Kara and I spend many, many hours running together. She has been my support team for a year. She has had many mindful runs with me, but we run at different paces when we race. And on the day of the marathon, we decided to run our own race, which obviously means tough work, physical pain, and pushing yourself. After running the first half of the race, I decided to wait for Kara while standing still for 10 minutes or so, while my legs became cinder blocks, which led me to crying at mile 16, talking for the rest of the few miles of how I should just give up. I should quit the race, then being counseled by Kara and finishing the race in excruciating pain and with a gnarly blood blister. But in that failure, I've learned that you have to get out of your comfort zone to learn. You have to challenge yourself to grow. My last story about failing comes once again from running. It's once again with Kara. I promise we have really good runs too, but sometimes we don't. This one is from last fall, and it's the first beautiful, crisp day of the fall. The sky is a mesmerizing blue. The leaves are painted beautiful colors, and we set off to run a 7-mile loop, the Farrington Loop. But I show up in a 37-degree day with a mesh shirt. We set off on our run. The sun is quickly fading. I cry in the story too. And Kara needs to counsel me in the story once again. As we keep running, since we had to get back to the car, we ponder if we should stop by the fireman's house so he should wrap me in blankets as I couldn't feel my arms and my hands. I make it back to the school though, and I sit in the car thinking about yet another lesson that I have learned through failure, and that is to know your limitations and to always be humble. Now on to the memories that make me who I am. Abby Becker's laugh that ends in a snort, that then makes me laugh in a snort, while Wilder smiles on and says, "Oh my God, Abby." Avery laughing so hard at my jokes that I'm kind of thinking that maybe I should do stand-up comedy. And then I go to JKC and I'm like, "Avery thinks I'm really funny." And JKC goes, "Me too." Avery, it's actually you. You're the one that's special. You're the one that's kind, that makes people feel that way. Allegra's beautiful, amazing drawings that in the time of pandemic decorate my makeshift classroom last year. Zoe's joie de vivre, Ilya's quirky and very interesting stories. The admiration I had for you, Howard, when you walked into Q's advisory on a bitter cold day, knowing that you had already worked that morning. The power couple, Emma and Levi, that not only were always ready to learn, but demanded that if something was more vigorous. Hannah Potswin Face racing cross country that made my heart smile because she had the biggest smile that anybody could see. Chandler's competitiveness at cross-country camp at Water Olympics. Seeing John, Emma, Molly, Sarah, Tiffany, Levi, Isaiah, Cam, Ploy, Gianna, and Hannah in their advisory circles, playing games and knowing that they're still each other's support team. Cooking mini churros with Brandon, Chase, Isabella, Riley in my culture and cuisine class. Wandering through Boston with Joey and Jeremy, Wilder, Cam, Abby, to see a Day of the Dead exhibit because of COVID. For all of that, I want to thank you all, class of 2022, for making me the person I am today. You are about to set off in a world that is facing many challenges, from the war in Ukraine, climate change that creates more poverty and injustice, legislation that limits women's rights. Your generation has big issues to tackle. But if the Aztecs figured out how to feed their population with floating gardens, I hold out hope that you will figure out how to tackle some of these issues. I leave you now with the advice that my mother gave me as I left Romania 22 years ago to come to the US. She said, people are people no matter where you go. There are good ones and there are bad ones, but for the most part, people are good. You have to open your heart and open your mind to learn from the world and learn from people. And don't be afraid of failure, as through comes growth. Congratulations, class of 2022. You will forever be part of me. Thank you.
We'll now welcome Abby Hill to the stage to dedicate our yearbook on behalf of the class of 2022.
Oh boy. I met Sadie halfway through my 7th grade year at Randolph Union. I was struggling with my first year in the high school, and it was just kind of a rough time. Her immediate care for me was unlike anything I had ever seen before. She's been my favorite and most trusted person since that day. She is very commonly known as the mom of the school. I've seen her help a lot of people, and she goes above and beyond for anyone that needs her help. Her office has become a safe space for many students, especially me, because I spend most of my time in there when I'm supposed to be in class. But just to have a space to be able to talk freely without judgment is so rare, especially in a high school full of petty teenagers. Through my last 6 years here, I'm almost positive I have spent more time in her office than in class. It's whether I'm in tears or running into the building to tell her something exciting, she's always been there for me. Her radiance and her strength has been so inspiring to me, and someday I hope I can be even half the person she is now. The senior class, especially Jeremy and I, would like to thank you for everything you do for the school and our community. And as the yearbook states, with loving gratitude and admiration, we are dedicating the 2022 yearbook to Sadie Lyford.
Thank you, Abby, and thank you, Sadie. To introduce our final keynote speaker of the evening, please welcome Ariana Grillo-Chope.
I have the honor of introducing our next speaker. Colin Antrusik has helped countless Randolph students in the class of 2022. He is kind, charming, an awesome paintball player, and most importantly, always willing to help. Please welcome Colin.
She spelled it phonetically, Andrasik. Very good, Ariana. Thank you so much. And thanks to the class of 2022 for the invitation to be a part of your ceremony. And really, truly, it is your ceremony. And I feel privileged. And as I look at the assembled audience here to celebrate your accomplishments, I see many familiar faces. And I suspect I'm a familiar face to many of you, too. To those familiar, I say hello. And to those who see me as familiar, I hope I look as young as ever. Now on to my speech, which is intended for the class of 2022 and contains all the wisdom and advice I could package into the 3 hours allotted to me by the graduation committee. Now, I asked the class of 2022 to take a good look at me. You see, I'm 53 years old, and I know most of you see me as a strapping 31-year-old. The truth is, I'm 53, and I've been working for this school district since I was 29. My first year was 1999. Graduates, raise your hand if you were alive in 1999. What I want to speak to you about is life. Those of you who have spent some time with me at my tech center office know that above my door hangs a sign that reads, School Philosopher. As such, I will share with you what I know and have recently learned. I do this as you ready your hearts, steel your reserve, and prepare to step forth into the world of adults. A world where you can make all your own choices, and as a result, reap what you sow. Be it glory, love, success, or a bunch of other words that mean the opposite, like, well, I think you know what I mean, but prison, jail, the county farm, house arrest. Mostly just kidding, but those residences are not life goals. But on to my advice as you sit here together for what very well may be the last time you are all gathered in the same spot. Certainly the last time you're all gathered together dressed the same. Take a good look at me. You see, life is lived minute by minute and day by day and year by year. And it is common to forget the mathematics of that process. All of the choices we make, all of the things we do and don't do, they add up to the sum total of our finished product. I stand before you today, graduates, able to say with some confidence that the man you see, the man many of you have come to know. Well, let's just reflect for a second. How do we know each other? Perhaps we were in Japan together. And it's still true, I'm right here. Why did you say and do all those things right in front of me? Perhaps we were in my office together. To you, I say, it was a privilege to feel trusted by you and to laugh and cry with you. Some of you may have wandered into one of my offices wanting some support and how to talk about a friend's worrisome love of the New York Jets or Miami Dolphins. And don't get me started on the Yankees. Yes, we all have those friends. And yes, there were those other times too when we strategized ways to support friends, family, and yourself for other reasons too. I thank you for that trust. Perhaps I spoke in a health class you had with Miss Larry, and we had to navigate some very awkward topics together, sex and drugs. Yet I always felt like we left those classes in success. Some of you may have been required to meet with me due to school policy. And yet it often began a relationship. One of the things I value most about Randolph Onion High School is the emphasis it puts on relationships. Due to COVID, I have been to some of your homes, sat on your porches, given you rides to school or home, whatever it might take to get you here. and you allowed my intrusions to be and feel normal. To the moms and dads, grams and gramps, and guardians of all sorts, you also allowed my intrusions to feel normal. Thank you for that. I mean, I'm sure the sight of a long-haired, bearded man showing up and saying, "I'm with the school," it can only make sense in a few places. And without a doubt, Randolph is one of those places and the surrounding communities. But back to my advice. I hope by now you've smiled as a memory has drifted by you as I've been speaking. So you see the advice I want to give you, class of 2022. The wisdom I want to share with you is simple and I hope profound. Listen, y'all, I'm 53. I feel like I can now say for the first time in my life, as you look at and listen to me this evening, this is what my life has turned out like. Do you understand? Life is lived forward, but as is noted outside Miss Sutton's door, you measure it by looking back over your shoulder. This is what my life has turned out like. I know now where I have lived my life. I know now where I built my career. 23 years in Randolph, with a plan for 12 more, Mr. Millington, if you'll have me. I now know what kind of parent I became. Both of my children still talk to me. I now know I kept the promises I made myself, what I would do different than my parents. You see, your choices matter. All of them. If you lie, you will become a liar. If you steal, you will become a thief. And people will see you that way. But if you tell the truth, you will become honest. If you keep your word, you will become reliable. If you lend a hand, you will become helpful. If you make amends, you will be humble. If you take healthy risks, you will have a solid chance for excellent experiences. And if you admit your errors, you will grow. And perhaps most importantly, if you find a way to love yourself, you will realize you deserve love, and you may very well find love that is honest, reliable, humble, an excellent experience, and full of growth. To the class of 2022, when you sit, stand, or recline somewhere in the far future, but those of us who are already in our 5th decade or more want you to know the time really does fly. And you are reflecting on your life. As you examine your memories and tell your tales, I remind you, your final measure will be based upon your choices. So I wish you well, I wish you peace, and I wish you the courage and wisdom to recognize the healthier path, and I encourage you to take it. Your future self is counting on you. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
And now for our introduction of the RUHS graduates, class of 2022. We welcome Director of Student Services, Kara Merrill, to introduce our graduates while we present the diplomas. We ask that families only come forward to take a picture when their graduate is receiving a diploma. We promise we will hold our pose until you get your pictures.
As Randolph Union principals, we certify tonight to OSSD Board Chair Ann Kaplan and Superintendent Millington and the surrounding communities that these Randolph Union seniors have successfully met the state of Vermont and Orange Southwest School District academic graduation requirements and proficiencies, and that they are prepared for the conferral of their diplomas.
Wilder Sage Grimes. Wilder will be attending Eugene Lang College of Liberal Arts at the New School in New York City. Molly Thompson. Molly will be attending CCV in the Early Childhood Program. Leah Corals. Leah will be taking a gap year, getting a job, and working on some personal goals. Aaliyah DeSaint. Aaliyah will attend Southern Maine Community College to earn an associate's in culinary arts. Sarah McDonald. Sarah will be entering the workforce. Hannah Potwin. Hannah will be attempting to make a small garden of potatoes. Allegra Luzardo. Allegra will be pursuing a degree in dental hygiene. Brittany Buckholz. Brittany will be going to the New England School of Hair Design. Ariana Conniff. Ariana will be joining the construction workforce at Conniff Custom Building. Abigail Mary Becker. Abby will be attending the University of New England this fall and majoring in biochemistry. Emma Louise Rogers. Emma will be moving to Florida to attend the College of Central Florida in Ocala. She will be finishing her Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. Matika Lynch. Matika will be attending CCV for her Associates in Business alongside running Herbal Equine Nutrition Vermont. Sierra McCullough. Sierra will be attending online classes through the Community College of Vermont in the 2022, majoring in behavioral science while also entering the workforce. Chrissy Sauls. Chrissy will be putting her culinary skills to work. Ploy Intarade. Ploy will be working at her parents' restaurant, SOP, and preparing to open her own cafe one day. Ariana Trina Grillo Chope. Ariana plans to go into entrepreneurship and go to Dartmouth College into the paralegal field. Wyatt DeJoinville. Wyatt will be attending VTC in the fall of 2022. Ethan Helberg. Ethan will be taking a gap year and figuring out what their life will look like. Abigail Hill. Abby will be attending VTC in the fall for a degree in business. Sarah Emmons. Sarah will be taking a gap year. Ella Davignon. Ella will be continuing her education at VTC Randolph Center campus in the fall. Bailey Burton Massey Wood. Bailey will attend Concordia University for a major in photography. Emma Elizabeth Gregoire. Emma will be entering the workforce. Elliot Troop. Elliot will be attending Hampshire College in the fall of 2022 with a focus on computer science. Aspen Gravel. Aspen will be moving to South Carolina, where she will take a gap year, and then she will be attending Paul Mitchell Cosmetology School to then later go to Horry Georgetown to get a business degree. Abigail Garvin. Abby will be attending the University of Vermont, majoring in exercise science with a minor in nutrition on the physical therapy track. Brianna Matot. Brianna will be taking a gap year, then will attend CCV for the pre-health and science program to further her nursing career. Tiffany Ray Schmeling. Tiffany will be entering the workforce following graduation and will be living in her new apartment with her boyfriend. Ilya Andreev. Ilya will be pursuing an education in wildlife conservation and the visual arts at Warren Wilson College. Taylor Leonard. Taylor is entering the workforce. Anthony Neville Jr. Anthony will be entering the workforce as an automotive technician. Maddox Bashaw. Maddox plans to take a gap year and figure out what his future plans will be. Owen Milkey. Owen will be attending the University of Vermont College of Engineering and Mathematical Sciences in the fall of 2022, majoring in computer science. Isabella Rose Forrest. Isabella will be attending the Central Vermont Career Center in the fall of 2022, studying her second year of cosmetology to become a licensed cosmetologist. Riley Rain Browder. Riley will be attending a vocational program to earn her ASN in cardiovascular sonography. Joseph Morris. Joseph will be taking a break from school and attending college in the fall of 2023. Isaiah Sumner. Isaiah will find an apartment and eventually buy land to build a house. Cooper Irish. Cooper will continue to work for Pike Industries and pursue his pipeline dream job in Alaska. Jacob Doyle. Jacob will be going to work for Casella. Howard Stockwell. Howard will be entering the workforce at Stockwell's Garage. Matthew Smith. Matthew will be majoring in entrepreneurship and small business management at VTC. Drew Messier. Drew will be attending VTC as undecided, but plans to join the veterinary technology program. Zoe Ukasic. Zoe will attend NVU Johnson in the fall, where she will decide her major after taking a few classes. She is interested in STEM and psychology. Casey Brooks. Casey is eager to explore the world around her. Trey Spinks. Trey is entering the construction trades field. Cameron Kennedy. Cameron will major in sociology at St. Lawrence University. Avery Sears. Avery will be attending UMass Boston in the fall of 2022, majoring in exercise science. Jacolby Boyce. Jacolby will be attending VTC, majoring in forestry. Lars Vargo. Lars plans to go right into working for the summer and then go to a technical college for automotive restoration. Brendan Vinton. Brendan will be attending Cotabuck Valley College in the fall, majoring in electrical. John Keller. John will be entering the construction workforce. Gianna Charland. Gianna will be taking a year off for work and then entering college in the fall of 2023. Matthew Stevens. Matt plans to work hard and live hard. Chandler Gray Anderson. Chandler will be attending the University of Colorado Boulder in the fall of 2022. Alden Berkey. Alden will continue to take unnecessary risks to life and limb as he pursues a degree in fisheries and wildlife sciences. Andrew Lewis. Andrew will attend Vermont Technical College as undeclared and choose his major during his sophomore year because he's not quite sure what he wants to do yet. Cody Grout. Cody will be working at Swanson's Granite. Levi West. Levi will be moving to Florida and spending his life savings on lottery tickets and hoping he wins big. Gary Edwards. Gary will further his racing career and continue to work in landscaping or as a mechanic. Chase Martin. Chase will be joining the workforce. Jeremy Spivey.
At this time, we introduce to you the graduates of the class of 2022. Graduates, please rise. Please turn the